Yes, benefit spending is rapidly running out of control, with nearly 4 million people at risk of abandoning work permanently as they continue to be paid out-of-work benefits without any obligation to search for a job. Meanwhile, 2 million more people will be claiming disability benefits by the end of the decade as mental health problems push the cost to the taxpayer up by more than 50%. Those figures alone represent nearly 10% of the entire British population. Speaking on his show last night, GBNews' very own Jacob Rees-Mogg suggested what may be going on here.
This costs you a fortune, £260 billion a year, and is growing. That's about 20% of all public expenditure, which falls on rich and poor taxpayers alike. And it's the failure to incentivise people to work that then allows it to become a lifestyle choice paid for by others that seems to me to be the problem.
OK, so is it a lifestyle choice? Let me know your thoughts by heading to gbnews.com/your-say or tweet me at GBNews. And while you're there, make sure you vote in our poll. The results to follow shortly. But first, going head-to-head on this are entrepreneur and businessman Mike Greene and reality TV star Jemma Lucy. Both of you, thank you very much. Great to have you on the show. Mike, I'll start with you. Is being on benefits a lifestyle choice?
Well, I'm not sure it's a choice, but they're certainly not choosing to go to work, are they? They're taking the benefit of such an easy, lacklustre, lazy system that makes it easy for them to stay at home. OK,
Jemma, your views, same question.
I don't necessarily think it's a lifestyle choice either, but I don't think that the alternative is that great. Minimum wage is awful. I think that people who do get a job, you're working all these hours to make probably not a lot more. And I don't think people are living a good life on benefits either. So when they're choosing or when they are on benefits, it's not like they're living the high life and thinking, this is great, let me just stay on benefits for the rest of my life. It's probably still pretty bad.
Is that a good enough excuse, though, Mike? Should people not have a bit more personal pride to go out, get up in the morning, go to work?
Yeah, they should. But on that point, I can completely agree with Jemma in the sense that the gap between benefits and the lower income earners is too small. We are not paying a livable wage to the people at the bottom end of income. And because of that, you've got people who put in a 40-hour week, maybe even do some overtime, and they're still sofa surfing. They cannot afford to live. It cannot be right that they're only marginally above people on benefits. We should be paying more to those that are willing to work and paying even less to those that want to sit at home and do nothing.
Look, I'm just going to introduce a clip. OK, which we've got. So it's indistinguishable. Indistinguishable, really, this, from reality or not. I'm going to bring it up now. So this is a chap who's running through his benefits list. I'll talk you through it, all right? So his income is about 2,000 and odd every single month. On that, he breaks down what he can get for that on benefits, all right? So it includes things like booze, Sky Glass full package there as well, vet bills for some kind of parrot, I think it's right in saying, all sorts of stuff there, really, on all of that. A tanning salon as well, phone, looks like, loads, all sorts of stuff. I mean, Jemma, we're paying for this, is that right?
Well, that's just one person, what they choose to do with their bills. I mean, their benefits. But what I think is that there's not enough jobs out there at the minute. And I think this is like a domino effect of all sorts of things, from COVID, from, say, even the education system. I don't even think our education system teaches people enough on how to make money outside of the rat race of society. You know, we're all taught to kind of go into these jobs, work, slave away from 8 in the morning till 8 at night, don't ever see your families. And when those jobs aren't available, nobody really knows what else to do. So I think that it's like a domino effect from all sorts. And then you go all the way back to COVID, where we were told, don't work, your jobs, you can't go to work. If you've got small businesses that you've spent 20 years building up these businesses, they're now gone, it's scrapped. So, you know, the choices aren't that great. And I think the whole kind of energy of this country is quite depressing and negative.
Yeah, but is that not because people are depressing and negative, Mike? I mean, if you have a bit about you, you can go to work. You've always got the chance. Going to work is like buying a lottery ticket. If you go to work and you turn up, you might get promoted. You might go and get that next big job. Your CV is going to look better. A big company somewhere else might come in for you. You might get headhunted. And before you know it, you might have that 5-bedroom detached house somewhere in the country and a roaring fire and a cockapoo. You know, it's fantastic stuff, all right? But if you don't go to work, you don't have a chance.
Patrick, it makes my blood boil. I mentor between 50 and 60 businesses at any point in time, and I've mentored thousands of businesses. I've run my own businesses. Do you know the average single person self-employed business is earning less than that little list you just showed me of benefits? They are working really hard. The government are taxing them. They might be turning over more, but by the time they've paid basic costs, they're earning less than that person who's, excuse my bluntness, but sitting on their arse. It is about time we made it tougher for these people who don't want to do it. And I also hear from these same people, they are struggling to get people to work. Why? It's too easy for them to be at home. There are jobs. They might not enjoy that job, but if not, learn some more things, get better, do a better job. Get off your butt and don't expect the government to look after you.
I don't think everybody's lazy, though, who's on benefits. What about single mums who have got 3 kids and they can't just go to work? They need benefits. They need to pay for their kids.
Could I ask you on that?
I agree with you.
Could I ask you on that, Gemma? Let me, sorry, Matt, let me just come in here, because I think, I know a lot of our viewers and listeners might be screaming at this, Gemma. I'm just keen to get your answer on this. You know, some people might say, well, if you've got 3 kids, right, why should we pay for that? Why should people have made that decision to have 3 kids?
Are you asking me?
Gemma, sorry, yeah.
I mean, it's not that you should have to pay for it, but I do think there should be some sort of sympathy towards that and a system in place. You know, people have kids by accident. Some people don't believe in abortion. Some people find out afterwards. Some people want to have kids. You know, some people want to make a family, and that makes them happy. So at the end of the day, there is a benefit system in place, and I just think that the strategy needs to be better of who is actually benefiting from it in a way where it is for the reasons such as kids, or who is actually sitting on their arse. So okay. I think that we need to try and decipher between the two a lot better.
Mike?
The problem is, Gemma, I think that we maybe both look at slight extremes. I don't know a single person that I've ever met or mixed with that isn't willing to pay for, support, look after the people who are unable or incapable of working. But
you're calling everyone on benefits lazy and on their arse.
We're talking about the millions that are sitting on their asses. My mum had 5 kids when she was a single mum at one point, okay? She went out early and often took those of us. My sister would stay at home. She'd take a couple of us. We'd help her do a cleaning job. In the evenings when we went to sleep, she did piecework, sewing materials that were bought to her, and she worked while we slept. Everyone can do something.
So you're expecting a woman to look after...
to pay for people who aren't willing to work.
Go on, Gemma.
So you're expecting a woman to look after all her kids, and then when her kids are asleep, when she's knackered all day, work all night. That's just ridiculous. That's not possible.
No. It was tough, but you know what? It taught us a good work ethic. The minute I could work, my brothers could work, my sisters could work, we wanted to look after my mother. And there was a responsibility within families. She looked after us if we didn't have work. We looked after her when she couldn't work. But so many kids expect to get a flat, expect to get paid, and don't want to work for it. I have no problem with supporting those that can't support themselves. But those that don't want to get off their butt, I have a problem with.
I agree with you, but I just think that generalising, saying that's what everyone's doing on benefits, it just...
I get that. I do understand, and I think we've picked the I'd say maybe extreme example. I don't know, the single mum with 3 kids, but I look at the figures here. 10% of the entire British population could well find themselves on benefits. And Gemma, there's no way that 10% of the British population need to be on benefits. And even if we upped the minimum wage, is this not a bad case of lazy-itis?
I don't think that all the 10%, need to be on benefits. But like I said earlier, I think it's a domino effect from COVID. And I want to just go back to what I said about the education system. I think that people are not learning enough on how to make money outside of society, outside of the rat race, which can be depressing. People like Andrew Tate sort of talk about how to do things like e-commerce brands online and making money online. But I don't think anybody's ready for that conversation.
I think that is actually a really, really good point. Mike, I'll give you the final word on this, because I actually think that we should be looking at situations like this now in schools. We've done away with a huge number of apprentices, or certainly not actively encouraged them. What we have encouraged people to do is to go and do completely rubbish, meaningless university courses that saddle them with a lifetime worth of debt and probably suck the life out of them and drain a few brain cells with the 3 litres of Frosty Jacks you consume every day at Backwater University studying underwater basket weaving, when in fact we could be teaching people, look, this is how you can have a practical trade, or this is how you might be able to duck and dive a little bit, and this is how you might be able to, make a bit of money, completely legally, of course. We don't really do that, do we?
No, listen, on my podcast, I've had people like Charlie Mullins of Pimlico Plumbers. I've had Alfie Best, a gypsy billionaire. They didn't go to university. I didn't go to university. I don't know about yourself, Gemma, but in getting out to work, we had to then learn from life. And you know what? I didn't want to do some of the jobs I had to do. But getting in them, I earned some money. I felt what it was like to earn my own money, to be able to go out for a drink knowing I bought that drink, not more pressure on my mum to pay for that drink. And then I wanted to get better and do better. And we haven't instilled the work ethic in people. And we're actually demonizing apprenticeships and lower level jobs by basically making people feel a failure if they don't go to university. I completely agree. That is not the answer for all young people.
Can I just say, both of you, thank you very, very much. That was absolutely top draw stuff, that, for a head-to-head. That's Mike Greene now, entrepreneur and businessman, and reality TV star Jemma Lucy. I hope to talk to you again both very, very soon. Look, who do you agree with? Was Jacob Rees-Mogg right that being on benefits is becoming a lifestyle choice? Tracy on X says, anyone who has grown up in a working-class area knows this is the truth and has been the truth for decades. So many people game the system, it's unbelievable. Rachel says, for some it is a lifestyle choice, but for others, like my husband, it sadly isn't a choice. Oh, gosh. After he was diagnosed with aggressive stage 4 throat cancer and unable to work since June 2018. And I think everyone, Rachel, firstly, obviously we wish you and your husband all the very best. And I don't think those are the kind of people at all that we're talking about when we're having this discussion about benefits. Gary says, I think benefits aren't becoming the choice for illegal migrants, but no one seems to care. Right. Your verdict is now in. 86% of you say that being on benefits is becoming a lifestyle choice. 14% of you disagree that it is not. Right.